What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be checking out the MM-01A upgrade kit for the magnificent Mecha Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime. Now, I picked this up over at Showsy's store, so we'll link it down in the description box below. And to be honest with you all, I never in a million years would think the MM-01 would ever need an upgrade kit because it is near enough perfect. Definitely the best transforming version of that Prime that we've ever seen. But with that being said, this kit does give us the option to transform him, or I guess convert him into his Cybertron look, which is how we primarily see him in the Bumblebee movie. And they've also packaged in a few conceptualized accessories, which I'm not gonna lie, just make Prime look so much more badass. Which, talking of, here we have one of them. This is the biggest out of the bunch. This is the Energon Axe. Now, I know he never used this in the movie, but considering most of his scenes take place on Cybertron, and in the War for Cybertron video games, he had an axe which was very similar to this, I'm gonna let it slide because this looks sick. And to be fair, when you think of Prime, you always imagine him 9 times out of 10 with the Ion Blaster, with the Energon Axe. So this does kind of complete that robot mode look, and in terms of the detailing, it is just so freaking awesome. There's no LEDs going on here at all, it's literally just paint, and it kind of gives you the impression that the Energon that this emits is so hot that it's literally burning the surrounding parts of the axe. So I mean, if Prime slashes a Terracon or a Decepticon with this, it's definitely going to know about it because it's probably going to die. But as you can see, wicked looking gunmetal for the handle, and despite this being the most detailed accessory, it's not even my favourite because, as you all know, I'm a massive fan of the live action movies, and we get a pair of the Energon blades, which are set to kind of reprise in the Transformers Rise of the Beast movie. So literally perfect timing in terms of their detailing, you know, much like the axe, that kind of burning effect we have here for the blade just looks incredible. And there's also a matrix of leadership, which I think is one of the weakest parts about the set. You know, unfortunately, it looks kind of crappy from the back, and the way it integrates into the chest isn't the best, but I mean, it looks okay from the front. Decent detail, you know, it's kind of a slightly stylized design of a traditional matrix, so I guess I'm gonna let it slide. And then there's also a pair of articulated fingers. Now, if you cast your minds back to the original figure, it come with a shed ton of kind of pre-articulated hands, much like the 3.0 DLX version. These ones pretty much put those past ones to bed because they can do everything those hands could do without having to, you know, to be continuously swapped out, and the pose abilities are matched. So we get like 4 points out of one finger. So there's the ball joint at the base, a hinge joint at the base, one in the middle, and then one at the very tip. And the same can be said for all 4 of the fingers, with the exception of the thumb, which just has 3 points, which, to be honest, you know, is incredible. So yeah, these are awesome, but I think should have come with the original figure, to be fair. And that pretty much rounds it off for accessories. Now we're going to get stuck into the upgrade pieces, and I'm just going to jump straight into the tutorial from turning Prime into his Earth mode to his Cybertron form.
Damn, what a hell of a view. I feel good, you look great, I like you, I can't wait. A first time, a first date, you're so fine, I'm so late. You sip wine, I drink straight, don't waste time to my place. I feel my heart erase, so catch me if I fall.
And here we have Optimus Prime, kind of half and half in between his Cybertronian look and his Earth look. So as you can see here, on the right hand side we have the Cybertronian pieces, and on the left hand side we have the Earth mode components, just to really give you guys kind of the comparison and the differences between them all. But first of all, as you saw, we did swap out the head because we do get a different head sculpt included with this guy, and for some strange reason it's almost identical to the original version, with maybe the exception of the mouth detailing being a little better due to some enhanced paint apps. I mean, to be fair, I have no idea why they even bothered including this, but I mean, it's an extra head to kind of give you more bang for your buck, I guess, so I'm not going to complain. But it suffers from the same issue I had with the original version, and that's that the crest doesn't work. No matter how hard you push, it doesn't turn on the LEDs, so you still have to kind of pop off Prime's cap to get to the LEDs, which can also be such a pain in the butt. And you know, once they're illuminated, it does look sick. But I mean, I wish maybe they could have made some modifications to the eyes. You know, maybe they could have made them a little larger. You know, when Prime sees Soundwave and and Crapsy's pants, they are pretty wide, so it would have been cool to have seen them give us that option, or maybe if the mouth guard could have been articulated, that also would have been sweet. But anyway, as you can see here, we have the Cybertronian set of stacks compared alongside the Earth mode stacks. Now, I'm going to be honest, out of all of the kind of swapping out pieces, this was by far the most cringe-worthy out of them all, because you really have to pry off the pre-existing stacks to get these new ones on, and it just feels like if you continuously flip back and forth from Earth to Cybertron mode, it's going to break something. So, you know, I don't know why they couldn't have constructed this in a similar way to the magnetic forearm pieces, but anyway, you know, I love these. I've always been a big fan of how Prime appears in that kind of Cybertron sequence, and I mean, the detail is fantastic. You kind of get the oil spillage and some dirt and grime, which looks incredible, and I also like the stylization that we have here for the stacks. So yeah, that's the comparison between the both as we come here to the forearms. To be fair, they're very similar to the Earth mode ones. We do just get a little more blue in terms of the design. So as you can see, this one's slightly more unarmored, I guess you could say, almost endoskeleton-like with a lot more mechanical detail, whereas the Cybertron look does just appear to be a little more armored. We did swap out the hands, so you know, these are now fully articulated, which is incredible, but as said previously, these really should have come with the original figure. It kind of sucks because if you only want this kit for the articulated fingers, you have to fork out like $67, which is quite extortionate just for some articulated fingers. But I mean, yeah, they are definitely an improvement. And then finally we come down here to the wheels, and he's transformed into the Batmobile, as we have those classic kind of Batman insignias, which I love. You know, again, very Cybertronian-esque and really nicely detailed. This is what the original pair looked like on the opposite side. So yeah, overall, really liking the way these Cybertron enhancements appear. It's just a shame that these ones at the top are a little bit of a pain in the butt. Now, like I showed off previously, he does come with the Matrix, so to get into that, you are going to want to take the chest windows and just pull them open. And as you can see, due to the way this guy transforms, he sadly doesn't have any kind of Matrix chamber, so they had to work this around this, which is why I think this looks kind of crappy. So basically what happens is these two circular nubs tuck into those little gaps, and I mean, it's an okay fit. If you're going to display this on the shelf, it's not going to look too bad, but you guys let me know before I say it. What is the biggest issue here with the Matrix? I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to let me know. And if you're eagle-eyed, it might be that the Matrix appears to be upside down. On all of my kind of Earthrise Primes or even my Kingdom Rodimus, I've always known the Matrix to fit in the chest upwards, so you have these two pieces facing towards the neck. This one, you can only install it in the chest with it facing down. You know, it's a very minor issue, but something that I just think they could have fixed, because, you know, it wouldn't have taken much. All they had to do was just swap these here to the underside. So yeah, that's a little bit annoying. And then as far as the way he holds some of his weapons, the hand doesn't come with a pre-built grip, so we have a smooth palm. They have included an additional palm with a tab which can attach onto some of the other weapons, but in order to access this, what you have to do is pop off the pre-existing palm. So just take this section here clean off. You then have to come here to the back of the hand and then take this piece off here, just like that. And then what's going to happen is we're going to attach this new piece which has the grip on it, and then actually add a screw which is included into the back. So I'm just going to very quickly do that to show you guys the finished effect.
Damn, what a hell of a view. I feel good, you look great, I like you, I can't wait. A first time, a first date, you're so fine, I'm so late. You sip wine, I drink straight.
And there is the hand with the new grip attached, so hello. Now you technically don't actually have to screw this in if you don't want to, but if you do screw it in, you know, once you attach, say, the Iron Blaster or any of the axes or the swords, it's just going to hold in there a lot better than as opposed to the palm falling out with the weapons, etc. And the final piece that we upgraded, which I almost forgot about, is that, you know, if you guys remember when you would articulate this guy initially, there would be a massive metallic silver rod which would jut out of the shoulder. This time we kind of get these cuffs which go over the top, which look so much cooler. I mean, as you can see when you're posing that, it's actually detailed than as opposed to this side, which was literally just the metallic rod. Now, whilst I do think that is cool, another thing I have to talk about is that with the shoulders and with this attached, you cannot transform this guy into the truck. So he basically does become a 3-0 figure. You know, you can't convert him without these pieces looking extra ugly, extra messy, and to be honest, near enough impossible to get kind of looking decent in the truck form. So just note that with these Cybertronian upgrade pieces, it's not really going to be possible to transform him into the truck, but if you keep the articulated fingers on, or if you keep the kind of Batman wheel caps on, you can still transform him. It's just this whole up assembly does restrict you in doing that. So, you know, it's something worth bearing in mind, but I guess technically he never transformed in that Bumblebee movie, so I guess, you know, it's kind of accurate. We never see him in his Cybertronian mode. And just before we wrap up the review, I've gone ahead and completely swapped out the opposite side for the full Cybertronian getup, and he looks so sick alongside the Transcraft KO upscale version of Beetle. And I've also smacked on that kind of holographic Earth, which we see Prime use when he commands the Autobots, basically exiles them to all kind of various different parts of the galaxy. And like I said, before, this also has an LED, so you can power this up to really give it that kind of projection feel. So yeah, he looks incredible. And in terms of the overall set, I think it's pretty nicely done, but there are some things which I think, maybe could have been handled better. Like, for example, the articulated fingers definitely should have come with the original version, because there was no need for them to give us that many pre-posed hands before, especially considering that a few months after they announced these. So I just think these were probably in the works when they were putting this guy together, and you can further see evidence of that with the kind of magnetic forearm pieces. These were magnetized for a reason, and it's because they always were intended to be removed so you could swap them out with this upgrade kit. So yeah, I guess it's a little crafty by Magnificent Mecha, but I do really like the weapons. The Energon axe and the swords are sick. The amount of detail and paint that are on them are by far some of the best I've seen for an upgrade kit. And in regards to kind of the whole Cybertronian getup, I think it looks cool. This truly is now the perfect version of B-Movie Prime, because you have the complete Cybertron look and you also have the complete Earth mode look. But there are a few compromises. Once you smack on those Cybertronian pieces, you cannot transform him due to the shoulders being different and due to those kind of additional gap fillers that we have on the armpit pieces. Is that an issue? For me personally, no, because if I ever want to convert him, I can just remove them, and he never transformed in the Bumblebee movie. So for me personally, it's not a big issue, but I can see, it kind of turning this guy into a non-transforming Transformer, which is more than likely going to put some of you guys off. And the Matrix of Leadership 2, kind of a crappy accessory, doesn't really look the best. I guess, they were just working with what they had. There's not a chamber in there, so they had to find some way to smack this in. And as far as the alternate head goes, there's barely no difference between the one that was already on the figure and the previous one. So I kind of think they just threw this in here just to kind of make it look like you were getting more bang for your buck. Which, talking of, this is an upgrade kit which costs $67. So it's definitely not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. And do I think they could have included more? Maybe. I mean, it is a very expensive kit, and yeah, the paintwork is definitely better than the likes of, say, DNA Design, etc. And the quality of the kit, I'll also say, is top notch. The plastic feels fantastic. But yeah, it does just feel very extortionate for a pair of articulated hands, a few extra weapons such as an axe and sword. So, unless you really love the MM-01 and you want to max him out to his potential, I think you could probably give this a miss. And I also am not the biggest fan of how you swap out the pieces from the shoulders either. There's a lot of tugging that has to go on, and considering how elegant it was to swap out these kind of magnetized pieces on the forearms, I think it's a shame they couldn't have engineered something similar for the shoulder pad. So if you are going to add this to the collection, I'll smack a link down in the description box below. But I really just think this kit's going to appeal to those, like I said, that are really kind of thinking they want to get the best of the best out of their MM-01. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you guys think? And until my next video, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.